I don't know. They definitely got to lay off the damn alcohol. It's so stupid. But it's so fucking frustrating, man. It's so frustrating. Just the way life is right now for me and for a lot of people. I mean, seeing it. I mean, I'm concerned with the rest of the people too, because we're all getting screwed over so fucking bad. You don't even like people don't even can't even come close to comprehending how badly we're all getting fucked. Like everyone, even somebody sitting there that's like a millionaire that's got a house and 20 acres of land or something. You're getting fucked too. Mm-hmm. You're getting fucked every time you go buy a pack of cigarettes for $12 when the damn thing's only worth 10 cents. And if you're over in Somalia or some other foreign country like that, that's what they would be charging you for the cigarette. You're getting fucked when you fill up your gas tank in your pickup truck and it costs you $50 or $60 or $100. When if you'd filled up your gas station on the other side of the world somewhere, it would have cost you like $1.25. Yeah, you're getting fucked when you're being robbed of fucking tens of thousands of dollars a year in property taxes. And if you lived somewhere else in the world, you'd never pay a fucking dime. You know? You're getting fucked when you buy a loaf of bread or a candy bar at the store and you're paying $2, $3, $4, $5 or something. When if you'd bought it somewhere else or at some time in the past, it would have only cost you a little bit of change. I mean, seriously, like when like I said, like one of the things that I loathe probably the most in this world that I think is one of the worst fucking things there is in the world is the fake help. The fake help that is prevalent everywhere. Like the organizations that claim to be trying to help people stop drinking and the organizations that claim to be helping the homeless. Like there's real ones, but there are real ones, but the real ones are usually very underfunded and very small, and the fake ones are gigantic and they have billions and billions and billions of fucking dollars behind them. People are just getting duped out of so much fucking. I mean, and that's what really sucks is because there are actually people trying to help and they'll send money to these charity organizations, and then the charity organization just takes the money and expands their operation and hires a bunch of employees and pays for a bunch of advertising so they can get more money and more money and more money, and then they keep like 97% of it. When if they would have just distributed the money to the fucking poor, you could have ended homelessness in the blink of an eye. Or if the organizations claiming to want to help stop people from drinking would just lobby to have the booze taken out of the fucking stores, or lobby to have it, make a law to make it a scheduled substance or whatever, to have it banned, whatever, right? There's things that these organizations and people could be doing that would solve the fucking problems in almost the blink of an eye, but they have the resources and the people and the influence to be able to do these things easily. What people don't realize is how absolutely, like, especially with the fiat money system that we have, how, like, easy it would be if the people running this place wanted to. They could send us all fucking $5 or $10 million in the, oh yeah. They could make it rain gold from the fucking sky on our ass if they wanted to, man. People, politicians in office, printing trillions and trillions of dollars constantly. It's like I said before, like 6.2 trillion divided by 330 million people is like 1.8 something $1 million. It's almost 1.9 million per person is what it would be. And that was just one bill, man. You know? I mean, if any of these groups, like the churches, the charity organ, any of these fucking big, huge groups actually was interested in fixing the problems, like, they'd be solved. Basically. Like, there's got to be a dozen or more churches probably in damn near every small town. And every Sunday. And some of them have services numerous times in a week. But every Sunday, if people even donate it, I mean, there's some people probably put $100 bill in there or more. Others put 50s, others put 20s in there. And you've got like several hundred people in the room all doing that. Even if say like 100 people are at a church and every one of them puts a $5 bill, you know, but a lot of them do more than that, and a lot of them have more people in the church than that. So you're talking, and now that times every church, right? Billions and billions and billions of dollars every fucking are being made every Sunday at these places. I mean, if they combine with their combined numbers and resources, they could hand out huge fucking checks to, like, if they actually had, like, when you go into these places looking for help or resources or something, and they're like, oh, we could give you $5 maybe. Like, these groups that do that shit have so much money that if they wanted to, they could cut everybody a check for $500,000. Like, every single fucking, like, homeless person that walks in and says, oh, I haven't slept anywhere, they could be like, here's $500,000. And it wouldn't even take a dent out of their budget, man. And they have all these social programs that are supposed to be help, but almost nobody can get into these things. The fucking uh, subsidized apartment, low income housing, and all this kind of shit. Almost nobody's even allowed to go to live there. You got to be totally spotless or something for them to even consider or be a. It's just. I don't know. So it's sad, like being sober, seeing all the way the world is, and just. I mean, God, even if I just go to the grocery store, like to get some food or whatever, right? I mean, if you want to talk about having a problem with alcohol, you got to get up and go to a grocery store every 3 or 4 days because I don't have a home, so I don't have a pantry or a fucking full size fridge freezer to put stuff in, you know. So I have to go shopping, go to the grocery store every few days, and the second I walk in the grocery store, I'm walking past stacks of beer and wine fucking almost stacked to the ceiling. Around every fucking corner of almost every aisle, they got fucking more beer or wine or something fucking sitting out there. Oh, you want to go pick up bread? You want some cheese? Oh, yeah, it's right over there next to that beer. Next to that 100,000 fucking gallons of wine that we have in that corner there. You know? It's fucking everywhere, dude. And this state is so liberal with the booze. And I mean, this state is ridiculous, man. There's like alcohol around every fucking corner. And then with there's probably like a dozen pot shops within a fucking. I mean, there's places in this state where it's like there's like a dozen or more like weed shops within within like a 2 block radius, basically. There's so much. And then bars and fucking places to buy beer and liquor stores all around the whole. It's everywhere, man. It's prolific. It's fucking everywhere. I mean, you can't even go to a grocery store. God, what was I ranting about before I got sidetracked talking about alcohol at the grocery store? Well, it is. It's fucking everywhere. It's everywhere. But, oh yeah, I was going to talk about how, like, even just going to the grocery store is like, irritating because everything's different than it used to be. Everything's more restricted and screwed up, so that even the simple act of going to a grocery store becomes 10 times more complicated than it used to be, because where there used to be like 6 or 8 ways to get in and out of the grocery store, now there's only 1 or 2, and the spaces are smaller and more difficult to get into, and the people are more unconscious and not paying attention to where they're going. And it's just, and then you can't get a fucking bag. You go in there. I never remember to bring my own fucking bags, like, because what kind of stupid shit is that? I mean, it's ridiculous. You can't even get a fucking plastic bag to put your fucking groceries in anymore. You gotta save the old ones that they used to have. Or like, it's fucking so ridiculous, man. And the paper bags just rip, like, easily. If you put anything heavy in there, like try to buy canned food or something, like, it's just gonna rip, fall right through the fucking bag. You know? So annoying. It's like everything is just gotta be made so fucking complicated, so convoluted, there's so many fucking hoops you gotta jump through, so much bureaucracy and red tape involved with, like, everything. Everything. Even checking into a motel is a pain in the ass. It's like, I mean, whereas like in the old days, you just walk up, ding, ding, yeah, you got a room, here's some money, okay, Now there's all this fucking paperwork and signatures, and you want your fucking ID and this, that, and the other thing, and they want to keep money and, like, deposits and all. It's all this. It's just, and they pester you. It's like everything. Everything now. It's just has been designed in a way to make everything more complicated than it used to be. I mean, people don't realize how badly we're getting fucked, is what I'm saying. Like, in every conceivable way. being robbed blind. Like, when literally in a heartbeat, if there were anyone, in power, in a position of influence and power in the government or something, like, they could solve these problems in the blink of an eye. You know, they don't want to solve the problem. They want to create problems. They want to make everything more difficult and more of a pain in the ass for us. And so they did. So they have. And it's present in everything. You can see it everywhere. Like, well, like, in order to get most types of jobs that are actually interesting, you'd have to be some graduate of Harvard or Yale or something to even stand a chance of getting one of those jobs. Like, if you wanted to be a paleontologist or an archaeologist or entomologist or you know uh, this, that, and the other thing, you got to go 8 years or something at some fucking Ivy League university. You didn't even used to have a college degree. You didn't used to have a college degree to be a dentist or a doctor in this country. But now you need a fucking license to set up a lemonade stand. You need a license to sell fucking strawberries on the side of the road. You need a license, uh, and certificate, and pay fees and everything to be allowed to cut hair for a living or to be an interior decorator. You know, it's fucking ridiculous, man. You need, like, I think what is it, like a 2-year degree or something to be a phlebotomist. Get any junkie off the fucking street would make a better fucking phlebotomist than the people that go to these universities for fucking 2 years or something. You gotta, oh, it's so tough. You gotta find a vein and where to stick a needle in it, what angle to put it. Like, and a lot of them botch it too. Get the junkies off the street, give them phlebotomy jobs. They know what they're doing. Yeah. Jesus. Say, you want no track marks? Take off your shoes, honey. Oh shit. Just no, it's just fucking ridiculous, man. It's all about the paper. Everything's about the paper. The paper money, the contracts, the all these agreements you're forced into, basically. Because it's like they need our consent. That's why you have to sign forms and things if you make a plea agreement or this agreement, that agreement. You have to sign this, sign here, sign there, and they just like take away all our rights and freedom and strip them away, and they get us to sign off on it. Because if we don't, then it just fucking make our life an absolute living nightmare. They'll badger us and pester us and fucking mess with us until they get us to capitulate and cow down. Just I hate this shit, man. I fucking hate it. Like, and I'm almost 40, so I know that the world was didn't used to be anywhere close to even being as bad as it is now. Not even fucking close. So much fucking better. Like even just 20 years ago, and it had already started to get kind of messed up then. But hell, 30 years ago, wow, it was like another fucking planet entirely. You know, it's like stepping out of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood to like some kind of a horror movie or something. I remember when there used to be like kind, friendly people everywhere, and people had meaningful conversations, and everyone was playing. Kids were playing, adults were playing, everyone was having fun, basically, for the most part. You'd walk down the street past the park, there'd be a bunch of people laughing and giggling and smiling, and now we're just like, it's like everyone has just become this prisoner or something in this place. It was a whole other fucking world, man. Way nicer fucking world. You could leave your door unlocked and people wouldn't mess with you. People would drive around with gun racks with a rifle and a shotgun in the back window. Stop off at a store and leave their windows rolled down and their keys in the ignition and walk into the fucking store and buy something, come out, and nobody had touched anything, It was, kids could bring fucking shotguns to show and tell at grade school, It was like so fucking different, man. And now it's just gone completely crazy. And it was done by design, it was done intentionally. And it's being kept this way intentionally. And what keeps it going, in large part, is the majority of the population getting up and going to work every morning, doing their job, and what their job is generally is part of a cog in this giant fucking machine that is destroying everyone's lives. I mean, what's a war without soldiers to fight it? What if they all just put their guns down and walked away? Right? What if everyone who has a job making fucking alcohol or selling alcohol quit their fucking job or told them, I'm not going to work here if you keep selling this poison to people? Right? I quit. Every truck driver that delivers truckloads of it would just say, fuck you, I quit. You know? One of the big ways we're getting screwed is with the inflation, the dollar value. Like, people are working their whole fucking lives away for these pieces of goddamn worthless paper. And only through like market manipulation are they even able to make it so that you can even buy anything with that crap anymore. $1 buys like not even a penny's worth. Is what you don't understand. And then on top of that, you got everything being taxed and taxed and taxed over and over. So it makes everything even way more expensive. Things are at least 10 times as expensive as what they really should be, just from taxes, you know. And then they're like more than 100 times what they should be because of inflation, because the dollar is worth so much less. Because every dollar they print out makes every dollar worth that much less, percentage less. So what was like the 70s or something when Nixon, the French parked a ship off the coast and came to Nixon and said that we want all our money. You know, they brought a bunch of the paper money and they wanted to exchange it to get gold back for it. And they gave him the gold, and then Nixon said, "Oh, we're getting the dollar off the gold standard now." And they made deals with Saudis and to be muscle in the Middle East or whatever. And that's how they managed to keep up the purchasing powers with the petrodollar. But now that is fucking basically gone because they're, you know, signing up with the, you know, foreign countries are creating this BRICS currency. So the dollar's not even going to be worth anything. And that's so clear, but most people, they don't see it and they don't comprehend it, and people are just going to keep pumping gas and flipping burgers for pieces of paper until then one day something's going to happen, and this day is going to come, and you're going to walk into the grocery store and you're going to look at the lunch meat and it's going to be $150 or $250, $500, $1,000, you know. You're going to walk in there and go, "Oh, you're making like $14 an hour or something." You walk into a store and you're like, "Oh, I need a loaf of bread. That'll be fucking $800, sir." Right? And people just keep on doing it. Like, it's like I noticed at the store the other day how the lunch meat that was $7.99, you know, a week earlier had become $12, and I was seeing similar price increases and everything else at the Safeway, and I mentioned it. You know, there was like a woman that was shopping there, and I said, "God, did you see how much the price increased?" Like, "Yeah, prices are high." Like, but she looked at me like I was like an alien or something, you know, like I'm weird for noticing or something, you know. There's stuff at the store now that I used to buy. I can remember buying. You used to be able to go into a grocery store with like 15 or 20 bucks and fill your entire cart with food. Within my lifetime, you know. I mean, inflation. What is inflation, you say? Well, like I said, the house I grew up in when they bought it was about $20,000 maybe. But now today, if that house was to sell, it would be $500,000 or $600,000. So you do the fucking math, right? And the mobile home that, you know, John got ripped off on, he sold for $160,000. Could have probably got twice that much out of it. The way the market is nowadays, and but like back in the '90s, at some point, the person that bought it before them only paid $7,000 for it. That's fucking inflation. Inflation is when you go into the store and you pay fucking $5 for a loaf of bread that used to cost 5 cents. So a house you could have bought, you know, 50, 60 years ago for $5,000 is more than $500,000 now. That's inflation. And that's happening faster and faster and such a large, vast level that it's I mean, some things are only 10 times what they should genuinely cost. Other things are 100 times. And some things are like 1,000 times or more than 1,000 times what they used to cost. Just like 40 years ago. Or 30 years ago, even. Honestly, even just from the 90s to today, like the amount, I'm talking like even mid to late 90s, things were so much fucking, like, things have got to be at least maybe 20 to 100 times more expensive, basically. In some instances, it's only like 10 times, but that's about the difference in price between now and like 30 or 40, even just 30 years ago or less. 25 years ago, you know? But somehow it's like people don't even notice this shit. And like minimum wage in the US is only about like twice what it was in like the 70s or 80s or something, you know? Oh, you make twice as much, but you're getting charged 100 times as much. That's why there's homeless people everywhere. I don't blame it on drugs and alcohol or people being lazy. It's bullshit. The fucking prices are goddamn ridiculous. People can't afford to live. That's the fucking problem. Problem is these fuckers printing trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of fucking dollars, making everything you own, making every dollar you own worth vastly less than what it used to be. Even right now, like in other parts of the world, man, you could you could pull up to a gas station in some parts of the world, and the gas is only like not even 5 cents a gallon or something. And a pack of cigarettes is like 10 or 15 cents. You know? And prices are like that with basically everything in some other parts of the world. I mean, take a guns, for example, right? Like an AK or something in the US, you'd pay probably, especially for like a real Russian, like that would cost someone in the United States, I don't know how many thousands of dollars for one of the real ones, and plus a bunch of licensing and everything else. But if you were over in like the Middle East and walk into some place, or Nigeria or something, you could pick up one of those for probably 10, 15 bucks. Yeah. That's just another example of inflation is what I'm saying, you know. It's how much the prices are driven up in the United States is ridiculous. I guess that was probably a poor example, but it's just everything is so fucking expensive. And all it would take, basically, would be for enough people to actually realize how ridiculous the inflation is and, you know, stand up against the fiat or whatever. But people don't even seem to notice. I mean, it's ridiculous. They walk into a store and they're paying 20 times what they used to pay not even that long ago. And you don't even see like their facial expression being affected by it. It's just like, oh, that's the way it is. People should be furious. You should walk into a grocery store and everybody should just be ripping stuff off the shelves and throwing it across the store and screaming and shouting. You know? People should just be knocking the fucking bottles of wine off the fucking shelves and like, fuck you assholes! You know? People should be absolutely fucking outraged at the cost of living and the cost of everything now. It's fucking ridiculous. We're getting fucking screwed. We're getting fucked on a obscene fucking level. What was that Thomas Jefferson quote or whatever? It's like, if we ever allow private banks to control the issuance of currency, and one day our children will wake up homeless on the continent their forefathers conquered. Right? Well, that's what happened, man. You remember how, like, back in, I don't know how much you know about history, but, like, back in the early 1900s, there were actually people, like, the actual government and stuff was at least appearing to make an attempt to try to stop the existence of monopolies. Like, they went up against the Rockefellers, Standard Oil, and things like that because it was forming a monopoly. But now there's like monopoly in everything. There's a monopoly on everything now. There's a grocery monopoly, there's a oil monopoly, this monopoly, that monopoly. It's just tiny little groups of people that own and control like everything on the fucking world, basically. I mean, people really don't understand like how much you're getting fucked, man. I can give some other examples how you're getting fucked in case you didn't know. Own a house, you own some land. Oh, is that what you think? I don't suppose you have the land patent or the allodial title on it, do you? No, you don't. Bet you don't. So that's why you have to ask permission to build a fucking shed. You have to get the zoning ordinance and all this other shit, required, and they can come along and say, you have to cut your grass. You're not allowed to grow a garden here. Your drapes have to be blue. Your mailbox has to be red or whatever, That's why that's why you're charged property taxes. Because you don't own the fucking land. You know who pays taxes? Renters. People who are renting a space. That's literally, like, when you realize that, I don't see how anybody could not be infuriated just knowing that. That the reason they have to pay taxes on their land, the reason you have to get permission, zoning, all this kind of stuff if you want to put in a shed or whatever, is because the government or whatever it is, claims ownership of all of the land. You know why you need a driver's license and fucking tags and insurance and all this shit for your car? Well, that's more in depth, but part of it is because the Department of Motor Vehicles, they have the certificate of origin, so you hold on to like a title that you think means that you own it, but in reality they own your car. Just like if you get a cell phone now, right, or a laptop or some other new electronic piece of equipment, say you get a PlayStation, a game console, or whatever the fuck you get, right? You don't own the shit, they do. It's written in small print in their fucking contracts. They own it. They own your phone, they own your car, they own your house and your land. According to their little scribbles on the papers, that's the truth, man. So that is just a level to help you understand how badly we're all getting fucked. Like that is an example, but I don't know, it makes me sad to think about these things. But I mean, the money, like they even when they made the new bills and stuff, you notice how they made all the different denominations the exact same colors as the colors of Monopoly money. Yeah, they did that because they're like basically mocking you. They're laughing in your face. They're laughing in all of our faces. They made it look like that because they know that's basically what it is. It's funny money. It's phony, and they're rubbing it in your face. I mean, the people that are wrecking this country and wrecking the whole fucking world are literally like in our face with their tongue out going, fuck you, I am screwing you. And they're just like showing you right out in the open. Like that whole corona thing, man. Do you see all the mockery that went on there? The dancing fucking nurse, choreographed dance routine nurses and the empty fucking hospitals and the fake injections on live TV where they'd make it super obvious that they weren't really injecting anyone, but then most of the people sitting in front of the TV, like obvious. And they put crash test dummies, hooked them up to ventilators, and showed it on the news. Like people, they were just mocking the shit out of people, man. And almost nobody could see through it. And they convince a bunch of people to wear pieces of cloth on your face, like that's gonna do anything. Like people literally can't read the fucking box. It's like they didn't even look up the numbers on the CDC website or anything. It was like 99.996% fucking survival rate or something. Oh. Oh. It's just. No, it's fucking sad though, man, because when you realize just how totally screwed we're all getting. It's like, and everybody is. I mean, even somebody who has $10 million in their bank account or something, they're even they are getting fucking screwed. Like people who have the kind of wealth of like a Hollywood movie star or something, they are even getting screwed. Yeah. You can live in some degree of comfort or something because you've got a whole buttload of money and you pay and pay and pay and pay to try and keep somebody off your ass, basically. But maybe if I mean, honestly, if people were even just more concerned with their own fucking well-being and their own, like how badly they personally are getting screwed over by the situation, then you know all the people would like stand up against this shit. It would be over with in no time. It would like we should all be millionaires, every single one of us. And if anyone in position of authority and power or whatever wanted to, they could make it happen in the blink of an eye. But I mean, even these charity groups, man, or these groups that are put together to so-called help people or whatever, like, it's ridiculous, man. The amount of money and resources that these groups have, like, they could have us everybody living in fucking mansions or something in a heartbeat. One of the things I really hate about, like, being broke, being poor, is like, I could think of all these things that I would do and that I could do if I had a lot of money, you know. And the more you had, the more you could do, you know. I'd be learning woodworking and making furniture out of wood and stuff, and learn how to carve wood. I have a 3D printer. I'd be making all kinds of cool stuff and you know, I'd be learning all kinds of things. Maybe take some classes to learn the things I'm interested in. Because you can't do that. Like, you can't really do that at colleges and stuff unless you're a multi-millionaire or something. Because you have to be part of some program or something, and most of the classes are just like